That's it. We're getting close to the fucking Labor Day. The summer's coming to a fucking end, and we're making it happen. I'm still away, but we had time to do the fucking podcast for you, and we got a great guest this week. It's fucking weird, man. Comedy, you never know anything about comedy. You know, when you get into comedy, you get in there with this blind, you know, you don't know where you want to go. You don't want to raise your head and say, I'm a comic and I want to be a movie star. I'm a comic and I want to have a fucking TV show. You're getting ahead of yourself. You never know where you're going to end up. So when you become a comic, like I did, I just became a comic to become a comic. I didn't become a comic to be on TV. I didn't become a comic to be on HBO. I just wanted a life, and I didn't want to be a fucking criminal anymore. That's the only reason why I got into comedy. It was the last resort for a guy like me. Sometimes, you know, I had no fucking GED. I had a GED. I didn't have anything going on. Then I got the felony, and I knew I couldn't keep beating the fucking same old drum. So comedy was something I could fucking tolerate. If you saw me on stage in '94, could you tell that I was going to be something? No, not at all. You know, I couldn't fucking tell. I was lucky if I would just be able to stay in comedy for 10 years, never mind 30 fucking years. By the time I was doing comedy 5 years, I had an identity. You know, you have an identity. It's like when you hear 3 chords on a fucking guitar. You know if it's David Gilmour, you know if it's Jimmy Page, you know if it's fucking, you know if it's the guy from fucking Motley Crue. I mean, you know from their chords. They don't have to tell you. Eric Clapton, you know, and that's what happens with stand-up. You start seeing people and you go, wow, that person's getting better. You know, you never think that person's going to be a star. You could just, that's why I love watching comedy. I always loved watching comedy and watching my friends do comedy, because you could tell, like, holy shit, they're going somewhere with this. You really don't know, you know. I never judged what the industry said. It was always me watching you on stage going, this motherfucker could rock. This chick's a bad motherfucker here. But I could never really tell. Then you start getting what's called industry heat, which is, you know, you start going to Montreal and the Moon Tower and the festivals or whatnot, and you still can't really tell. Because, listen, if you saw me in 1998, you would say Joey Diaz didn't have a fucking chance. The same way Rogan said it. Rogan always said that when he met me, I was struggling. So if you saw me the first 7 years in comedy, you would have said, this poor bastard doesn't have a chance. In fact, one of the things that till this day bothers me, and it was my ex-girlfriend, her brother. We went to a show one night, and her brother came, and her brother looked at a comic that I was there, and I think he said it to get under my fucking skin, or he said it just because he was a fucking moron. He goes, that comic right there is going to go places. And I made a mental note. I was like, I'm going to make a mental note if this guy knew what the fuck he was talking about. I mean, it was 1995. I was only doing comedy 4 years. I didn't really have any expectations then. But for this idiot to say that this guy was going to be a fucking star in 20 years. So I remember it lit a fucking light under my ass, you know, like I'm like, I got to be funnier than this guy. And it also made me stay in touch with this guy. Like I would stay in touch with him over the years. And the result was this. I got somewhere, and this guy's still in this little fucking hellhole doing $50 fucking gigs. You know, the potential was there, but he didn't look at it how I did. I, on the other hand, started off slow and picked up momentum. You know, like I said, at 1998, I was already a regular at the store, but I was a regular because of my presence, not because of what's going on in my mouth. It was my presence and my energy. That's what pulled me along those fucking days. And I'm really proud of that. You know, I've said it to you guys before. I'm no John Mulaney. I'm no Bill Burr. I'm Joey motherfucking Coco Diaz. I'm a storyteller. I do observational comedy, you know, I improvise, whatever the fuck I do. I wish I could write like those guys, but that's not the way it worked out. Everybody has a different journey on this fucking earth, you know? And with comedy, you never fucking know. You just go. Do you think I could be on TV? I don't fucking know. I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke up your ass and tell you you're going to be on TV, you know? But you're not going to be on TV if you don't fucking go for it. That's a start right there. I don't know. You know, the other night we were watching the World Series of fucking softball. My father-in-law called, and he's like, it's 9 to 12-year-olds. See if Mercy wants to watch it, you know? And I called Mercy. She had come out of the shower, and we're watching this fucking World Series. The fucking girl was throwing 95 miles an hour. She was 12 years old or some shit, you know? So, you know, I could just watch girls softball for 10, 15 minutes, and then I start feeling like a fucking pedophile. But thank God I'm there with my daughter and my wife, so I don't feel even fucking worse than what I do feel. I'm sitting there, I got my sweats on, I'm relaxing, and I'm watching this shit. And I told Mercy, it's going to be 9 o'clock in a little while. You're going to have to hit the fucking crib. And she goes, okay, Dad. And finally, she went over, kissed her mom, and she came over to me, and she gave me a kiss. And as she was walking to her bedroom, she turned around, she looked at me, she goes, you know what? One day I'm going to play softball on fucking TV. And I was like, holy fuck, and my fucking jaw dropped. And I'm like, this is fucking tremendous that for her, it was kind of the same thing for me. Like, I was playing basketball, I'd gotten left back, I was lost, and I was trying to learn moves and fucking, you know, different things from watching college basketball and pro basketball. I would be addicted to it. And one day I'm watching a college game on a fucking Saturday afternoon, and they say something about Jersey City, you know, and I was like, what the fuck? There's somebody on this team from Jersey City? And I remember I went to the courts that Sunday, and I asked somebody, I was watching the NCAAs, and they said there was a kid on there from Jersey City, and my one friend, yeah, there's a kid on fucking North Carolina from Jersey City. He goes, I forget what his name is, so I was like, fuck it. That Monday was the final game of the NCAA final, was the end of March Madness. And I'll never forget, I sat by the TV waiting for the game to come on, and it was Marquette versus North Carolina in the finals. Phil Ford, all these fucking players, Jerome Whitehead. But when they brought up North Carolina, they said starting forward, a freshman from Jersey City, New Jersey, 6'7", Mike O'Corin, a fucking Irish kid with bad skin and acne. And I remember when I fucking, you know, because when you hear Jersey City, it's one thing. But to see this fucking beautiful white boy come out with his baby blue fucking shirt, and he was number 31, and all of a sudden on the bottom, because remember, hearing and seeing is two different fucking things. When I saw Jersey fucking City, my head blew up. It was like my daughter tasting black beans for the first time. You could see something wasn't right. She was like 8 months old, and she was like, she was stuttering like Lebrano. So fucking, when I saw that, I fucking went nuts. I was like, holy shit, that was my life's inspiration. If I got to tell you what my life's biggest inspiration was seeing Mike O'Corin that day and Jersey City, because Jersey City turns into North Bergen. And if a Jersey City kid could be on fucking TV, so can a fucking North Bergen kid. And that's how I looked at it. I had to look at it that way. That inspired me for the rest of my life. The other day I was sitting there, and I'm like, I'm thinking of calling my man Jim Haig. He writes for one of the Jersey newspapers in Jersey City. He gave me O'Corin's number about a year ago before the pandemic, and he told me to call. I told him, I go, O'Corin inspired me in ways that I could never be fucking inspired before. And he goes, here's his number, give him a call. And now I'm fucking embarrassed. But I was embarrassed at the time, but after thinking about what he did for me and shit, I said, fuck it. It's time to call Mike O'Corin. So maybe we'll have him on the fucking podcast, and we'll talk about how he inspired me and whatnot. He coached the Nets. He's an announcer now. He's great. But that was for my daughter to say that to me the other day. I felt like how I felt in the fucking 7th grade when I saw Michael Corrin. I knew I was going to do something in my life, as crazy as it sounds. And look, at years later, anyway, I'm heading up to shoot a TV show. So 50 fucking years later, it panned out for me. Anyway, this week's guest is, you know, I'm getting older. I love looking, well, when I was doing comedy, I love going to the store early and watching different comics do their fucking thing, you know. But I really enjoyed, I didn't enjoy the names. I enjoyed the door guys, you know. There was one guy that used to do Saturdays early. I forget what his name, Offalo or something in L.A. I forget what his name is. He used to fucking kill me on Saturday nights. I would go down there early, just to, Benny Ruffalo, whatever. Is that his name, Benny? I think, I don't know. He was just funny as fuck at the store. There were some guys at the store that made me fucking laugh my ass off that you would know if, you know, just store guys and young guys that were just really funny. You know, this guy that I had on the podcast this week, I feel that him, Schultz, you know, these guys all have the ticket on fucking comedy. It's just a matter of time before they become stars. Am I jealous? Fuck no. I'm happier for these guys. I'm happy for people when they strive because I want people to strive. My job is to pull people up. About 15 years ago, I met with this dude. I was talking to him at lunch. This was before I got back into stand-up in the church. And he goes, you really got to work stand-up and be a mentor for younger guys, you know, give them light, because the more light you give them, the more light you'll get. And he was right. This is what Rogan has done over the years with his podcast. You got to give younger comics light. You can't be jealous of them or judge them or say they're going to suck. Fuck no. You got to say, you know, fucking salud and fucking wish them the best.